Big news coming in from our Foreign Affairs Minister S Jaishankar, lambasting Pakistan on the sponsored terrorism. S Jaishankar has said, and I quote him here, Pakistan is sponsoring terrorism at an industry level. Underlining that Pakistan is sponsoring terrorism at almost an industry level, External Affairs Minister asserted that the mood in India now is not to overlook the terrorists and it will not skirt this problem anymore. That's a big statement, basically to say that we are not going to speak around of what is happening, but directly at what Pakistan is doing. Listen in.
How do you deal with a neighbor who does not hide the fact that they use terrorism as an instrument of statecraft? Now, it's not a one-off happening. I mean, different countries at different points of time have experienced this. But a very sustained, almost an industry level, assembly line of people whose job it is to do bad things at night. To produce this with the intent of pressurizing your neighbor becomes a real challenge. So what we have come to conclude is that we have to find a way of addressing it, that dodging the problem gets us nowhere. It only invites more trouble. So I don't have a quick instantaneous fix. But what I can tell you is that India will not skirt this problem anymore. We are not going to say, well, that happened and, let's continue our dialogue because that's very important. I think if we have a problem, we must be honest enough to face up to that problem, however difficult it is. If we have to have those discussions, we should. And if it is, hard to find a solution, we must work through to the way. We should not give the other country a free pass saying there's nothing they can do about it, or it's a very hard problem, or there's so much else at stake that let us overlook it.
Today's Foreign Affairs editor joining me this morning. Geeta, good morning. This is very interesting. Now, this is not, of course, the first time that India has reacted on Pakistan. What do you think is so different this time in the External Affairs Minister's statement?
Well, it's a reiteration. There is nothing especially new, Pooja, because this has been an iteration of the Indian foreign policy for the past few years. And Dr. Jaishankar has been reiterating the very same stand that India no longer has the patience to continue tolerating terrorism emanating from Pakistani soil, and that the country is in no mood to engage Pakistan if it does not stop using terrorism as an instrument of statecraft. So in a very sustained manner, the Indian administration has been telling Pakistan that unless and until they stop using terrorism as an instrument of state policy, that there can be no forward movement, and that has been reiterated over here as well. Whether it is the terror camps, terrorist organizations, terrorists themselves, or for that matter, the issue of the massive terror attacks that India faced at the hands of terrorists from Pakistan, that these things cannot be overlooked anymore.
Very interesting. Thank you very much for now. Geeta Mohan tracking all the latest of what the External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar has said, specifically at a time now saying that we don't have to skirt around the issue. Let's talk directly on what Pakistan does.